This is the second part of the third lesson. In this lesson we are going to continue studying some basic Russian expressions. Also we are going to learn some question words and we will start talking about the verb and its conjugation. Let's start! In the previous section of this lesson we talked about the genders of the noun in Russian. So we have masculine, we have feminine and we have neutral. Also we learned some basic terminations, how to distinguish each gender of the noun. In addition, we also learned the different forms of possessive pronouns, how to say my book, his book, her book, their book, our book, etc. And we know that these pronouns have to change according to the gender of the noun. So for masculine we have one section of pronouns, with feminine we have slightly different, and with neutral we have others. What we are going to learn now is how to ask whose is that? Whose house is that? Whose dog is that? So the word whose, the question word whose in Russian is chey. Chey. I repeat again, chey. But here be careful because the question word chey, whose, changes according to the gender of the noun. So for example, chey is the form for masculine. For example, if you want to ask whose house is that, in Russian would sound something like чей это дом. Dom in Russian is masculine. The termination is a consonant, no vowel. So when the termination of a noun is a consonant, it's usually a masculine. So I repeat again, чей это дом, whose house is that? Okay, if you want to ask whose dog is that, for example, the word dog in Russian is собака. Собака. The termination is the vowel R, which means it's feminine. Собака. If you want to ask whose in feminine, it sounds like чья. Чья. The termination is the letter я. Чья. So the whole phrase would be чья это собака. Чья это собака? Whose dog is that? Чья это собака? Finally, the word letter that I've already mentioned in the previous section of the third lesson, письмо, is a neutral form. Письмо. So for the neutral word, we use the question word чье with the termination ё. Чье. Whose. Чье. The whole phrase would be чье это письмо. Чье это письмо? Whose letter is this? Okay, very well. Now we're going to learn some numbers and then we will come back to the topic of the question words. Okay, numbers. I'm going to show you the numbers on the right and I'm going to pronounce each number one by one. Try to repeat after me. Let's start. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be very careful with the pronunciation of the letters O and Y, because when these vowels are unstressed, Y is pronounced as E, O is pronounced as A. I'll repeat again the whole list of numbers. Try to repeat again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very well. Now I'm going to show you a text and we're going to practice a bit the reading, the recognition of the letters, of consonants and vowels in Russian. First, try to read yourself. You can put the video on pause and then I'm going to read myself so you can repeat after me. Here is the text. Давайте познакомимся. Меня зовут Лидия Николаевна. Моя фамилия Соколова. А вот моя семья. Это моя дочь. Ее зовут Анна. А это мой сын. Его зовут Дмитрий. А вот Сережа и Оля. Мой внук и моя внучка. А где же наша собака? Вот она. Okay, very well. If you still have problems recognizing the consonants and the vowels of the Russian language, I advise you to practice a bit like that. Put a pause on the video, then try to pronounce, then listen to how I pronounce, repeat after me, and repeat the same exercise with other words until you recognize all the sounds of the Russian language. Okay, of all these texts and of all these words that you see on the right, the only two words that might be unknown for you for now are the words вот and где. Вот and где. Did you find them? Okay, the word вот means here, this. It's used when you want to indicate something. Вот моя мама. Here is my mom. Вот моя собака. Here is my dog. And the word где is a question word for where. Where? Где? Where? Где? For example, if you want to ask where is my mom, it would be где моя мама? Где моя мама? If you want to ask where is your mom, you would say где твоя мама? Где твоя мама? Or, for example, if you want to ask where is his dog, you would say где его собака? Где его собака? Okay, all these words, mom, собака, are feminine. Now let's see some example with the masculine. If you want to say where is my father, you would say где мой папа? Где мой папа? If you want to ask where is her father, you would say где ее папа? Где ее папа? And if you want to ask where is their house, you would say где их дом? Где их дом? Finally, if you want to ask where is your house, you would say где твой дом? Где твой дом? And let's see the neutral form. The word coffee, кофе, in Russian is neutral. So for example, if you want to ask where is my coffee, it's где моё кофе? Где моё кофе? Where is his coffee? It would be где его кофе? Где его кофе? And if you want to ask where is your letter, you would say где твое письмо? Где твое письмо? Okay, so now we know the following question words. The question word for what is что. For example, what is it is что это. The question word for who is кто. If you want to ask who is it, it's кто это. We know also the question word for how. For example, the question how are you, it would be как у тебя дела. So the question word is как, how, как. Also we know the question word whose, чей. Whose house is that? Чей это дом. And now we know the question word where. Где? Где твоя собака? Where is your dog? Где твоя мама? Where is your mother? Now we're going to see some Russian verbs and their conjugation. The problem with the Russian verbs is that they have different conjugation depending on the person. So first let's see the subject pronouns for Russian. To say I is я. To say you is ты. It's singular and informal. He is он. She – она. It – оно. We – мы. You – formal or plural – вы. They – они. Well, you should know already the subject pronouns, so now let's see the different forms of the verb. To say I live is я живу. You live – singular. Ты живешь. Ты живешь. He lives, she lives, it lives. Он живет. Она живет. Оно живет. We live. Мы живем. They live. Они живут. Now the terminations that you see for different subject pronouns are the classical typical terminations for these subject pronouns for the verbs of the first conjugation. For example, the verb жить, to live, жить. жить. It's an infinitive. Now I understand that these forms are difficult for you now because you are not used to them. So to memorize them better, let's try to compose some phrases using these verbs. So for example, to say I live in Barcelona, it would be Я живу в Барселоне. Я живу в Барселоне. You live in Madrid, you would say Ты живешь в Мадриде. Ты живешь в Мадриде. He lives in a house. Он живет в доме. Он живет в доме. She lives in Moscow. Она живет в Москве. Она живет в Москве. To use the verb live with оно, which means something abstract or an object, would be strange, so let's omit it so far. And we live in a flat would be мы живем в квартире. Мы живем в квартире. And they live in London, it would be они живут в Лондоне. Они живут в Лондоне. Okay, of all these phrases, what do we see in common? Yes, the preposition v. V means in. And if you use the preposition v in Russian, after that you have to use a different case. It's prepositional case. So you have to change the termination of a noun that you use after this preposition. Let's take an example. The word Barcelona. Barcelona is a city. So Barcelona is nominative case. But if you want to say in Barcelona, using the preposition in, you have to modify the word Barcelona, because in Russian we have cases. So after the preposition in, v, you have to use a prepositional case. The termination for the prepositional case in this case is ye. So instead of Barcelona, the final a, you put Barcelone, в Barcelone. And you can see that it's the same termination for all the words that are used in the examples. For example, the house is dom. But if you want to say in the house, you say в доме. В доме. London in Russian is London, and if you want to say in London, it would be в Лондоне. В Лондоне. If you want to say a flat, it's квартира. Квартира. If you want to say in a flat, it would be в квартире. В квартире. Я живу в квартире. I live in a flat. I know that these cases and conjugation of verbs can be complicated at first. It's something that you have to memorize and you have to get used to that. But please don't be discouraged. It's something that you have to understand, to memorize, to practice a bit. And when you get it, you'll understand that it's not so complicated as it seems. There is some logical explanation in each of these cases and terminations. And to end this short section, I just wanted to say that for the preposition in Russian we actually have two different prepositions. We can use the preposition v, in, literally, that I've already mentioned, в Барселоне, in Barcelona. But we can also use the preposition na. Na is literally translated as on. But sometimes we have expressions with the preposition na that you have to memorize. For example, if you want to say in the street, it's на улице. На улице. Well, it can be a bit similar with English, because in English you can also say on the street. So на is on, на улице, on the street. Also, if you want to say at the sea, like sea coast, you say на море. На море. For example, I live by the coast, so I can say я живу на море. А где ты живешь? And where do you live? You can write it in the comments below the video and I'll check if it's correct. Finally, I want to mention one more time that if we use the preposition v, for example, in the house, в доме, we have to use the termination е. В доме, в Барселоне, в Лондоне, в Мадриде, в квартире. But there are some words that require the termination u. U. Here you have the list of them that you have to memorize for now, and let me pronounce them and translate for you. Try to repeat after me. In the airport would be в аэропорту, в аэропорту. In the forest, в лесу, в лесу. In the port, в порту, в порту. In the cupboard, в шкафу, в шкафу. And on the floor, на полу, на полу. But the last word is not the preposition в, but на. Now, what do you see in common between all these words? The stressed syllable is the last letter, the last vowel U. So, if the stress is on the last letter, on the last vowel, we have to put U, not ye. I repeat again. For example, Barcelona, the stressed syllable lo. Barcelona. That's why we say в Барселоне. But in the forest, les. The stressed syllable would be the last, в лесу. We cannot say в лесе, в лесу. So we have to put u. For now, just try to memorize these few words, but the general rule, I repeat, is to put ye at the end of the noun. Okay, very well. That's all that I wanted to show you for this section of the third lesson, and we're going to see each other again in the third section of the third lesson, where we're going to continue talking about the verbs. See you very soon. Bye-bye. Пока!